Hey guys, Dazzler Magic here. A little bit more of a low-key spoiler set today. Not because of the power level, I haven't looked at a single one of these, but because I'm not on vitamin B today, I've moved on to vitamin C, if C stands for CBD. Alright, what do we got here? So Arcane Bombardment, oh boy. 6-cost mythic. Now remember, every set, by rule, has to have a garbage red mythic. I made that up, but it's true like 90% of the time. That I didn't make up. So, enchantment, that's never a good sign. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, copy the Harry Potter movies. Oh wait. Exile an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard. Then, copy each card exiled with Arcane Bombardment. Holy crap. You may cast any number of copies without paying their mana costs. Yeah, this is awful, but what are you going to do? Run it in a red burn deck when it costs 6? Still, like, I don't play many other formats, and I still don't want to see this in other formats. Can't imagine what kind of self-milled nightmare this could go in. You know, they probably should have called this Megastorm. Evelyn the Covetous. Why are you stabbing a painting, you crazy bitch? Or is it a mirror? Why did you have somebody paint a mirror? Why are you jealous of yourself? Why are you jealous of your painting? What are you doing? Who are you? Why is it so many vampires again instead of demons right after we just had vampires? Why did they even bother with 3-color anymore? It doesn't work, or it works too well. There's no middle ground. Anyway, legendary creature vampire rogue flash 2/5. Oh, and it's, what even is this?
What the hell is even that?
2 generic, 1 hybrid black-blue, 1 black, 1 hybrid black-red. So 5 CMC, or whatever the hell they call it now, and then it's a vampire rogue with flash 2/5. I can't wait to read what fresh hell this is. Alright, so when this hoe enters the battlefield, under your control, exile the top card of each player's library with a collection counter on it. Once each turn, you may play a card from exile with a collection counter on it if it was exiled by an ability you controlled. Boy, that's like the second time they made this so that it has to be you casting it and it doesn't go off like when your opponent casts it or steals it or flickers it or clones it or whatever. Actually, if I were to clone it with that one clone anything in the battlefield thing that's still legal and standard that I play with right now in Arena, it's hilarious. All I'm saying is watch my next live stream, is going to be freaking lit. Yeah, that ability would still work. It would still go off. The first one. So, I mean, she steals shit and then you can cast it and the mana is fixed. There. Why don't I even read their words anymore? They wrote a frickin' book on this damn card. Hey, while you're digging around in your backpack for a magnifying glass to read this stupid fucking card, what you should do while you're in there is look for a better TCG to play. So that card is Cancer. Next up, Arbitro. Omnividente. Is that the Arbiter of Omnilife? Oh, Vidente. Okay, it's All-Seeing Arbiter. Okay, so it's a 6-cost creature avatar, flying, and whenever All-Seeing Arbiter enters the battlefield or attacks, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Oh, that's nuts. Whenever you discard a card, target creature an opponent controls gets -X, -O until your next turn, where X is the number of different mana values between cards in your graveyard. Okay, the mythics are absolutely insane and clearly not printed for standard, but, well, nobody plays standard anymore because they ruined it. And this is a 3-color set. I get it, it's not a 3-color card, but still, this might as well have just been called Commander Legends. Oh my gosh, Capenna Legends. So next up we got Cormella, Glamour Thief, and I legit thought that was a rabbit for like a split second. Anyway, a glamour, or as they spelled it there for no reason, the British way, glamour, you know, in a set that's supposed to be New York, which was like the polar opposite of England. Yeah, I don't get it either. It's supposed to be a magic or enchantment. So naturally it's a legendary creature vampire rogue. So this is a 4-cost blue, black, red. Obviously legendary creature, like I said, haste. You tap it and pay 1. Add 1 of each color there, so all 3 colors, to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast instant and or sorcery spells. I mean, the color's a little restrictive, and I've seen better stuff for 4, but this is pretty good. I just don't like stuff that encourages just spell spamming crap, which is what blue-red does, so... Can't wait to see the black part of this card, because they usually tend to throw in things from each color identity. Not that they've been sticking to color identity in the last couple sets. So when Cormella dies, return up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Thanks, I hate it. Next up, whatever the hell this is. Next, okay, fine, I'll translate it. Corpse Examiner, and as you can see, everybody in this entire set is dressed like they're about to walk on to some kind of stage play version of the Neverending Story 2. See, they said New York, but they heard Neverending Story 2, the stage play. So it's one blue, one black, one red. This set has really not been fun for somebody who has difficulty looking at a mana symbol and naming the color behind it for some reason. Lot of takes in this one. I'm reaching the limit of my patience. Hey Des, why don't you just memorize the family names and say that? Because dumbasses are still going to call it Esper no matter what I name it. So, you know what? Well, not this card, the Esper one. But anyway, when Corpse Examiner, this is a creature vampire rogue 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, exile up to one target creature card from the graveyard. I don't know if that's a graveyard or your graveyard, but thanks for releasing this in the wrong language and then having somebody translate it wrong. I appreciate that. People have said the correct way is a graveyard, but I wouldn't know. Also, while we're on the topic, China. Oh, also, Russia. And if you voted for Biden, you. Yes, stop mixing magic in normal content with politics. Why don't you stop being here and shut the hell up? Anyway, you grab a creature from a graveyard, maybe. If you put a card into exile this way, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, and the rest into your graveyard. So even more zombie countermeasures, and we're like, what, 3 sets removed from that nightmare? Well, based on the arena game I just came from, yeah, the zombies do still be +2/+2 in flying, so that was a mistake. Next up, oh god, English, it's a miracle. Cut Your Losses. It's a 6-cost double blue sorcery. You know, there's a lot of 6-cost double color, but they're obviously not, like, I wouldn't call it a traditional cycle, because they're different rarities, different spell types. Some are permanent, some aren't, and they're different rarities. This is really strange. So anyway, Casual T2, sorcery by the way, which is just a reminder, as you cast a spell, you may sack a creature with power 2 or greater. When you do, copy the spell, and you may choose a new target for the copy. So I don't like spell copying, but if you have to ditch something with like a bare minimum threshold, okay, especially in blue. So target player mills half their library rounded up. I've got an idea. You. Somebody plays this bullshit, I'm either making them count my library and then start counting again, count to half and all that, and then still calling a judge and accusing them of changing the order of my cards, or flipping the table in their face. This in paper. Wasn't this already spoiled? Anyway, next up we got some dude in a coffin who looks like Discount, the guy from Twilight. The hell is this? Dig Up the Body. I literally read that as Dig Up the Booty for a second there. I am way too tired on this shit. This is going to be a fun exercise in how many cards I can misread in one video. So it's a 3-cost black instant, probably. I don't know. Maybe it's translated wrong. Who knows? Casualty 1, I just said what it does. Mill 2, then return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, I mean for 3, all right. I mean, it's a common. I think they just probably did it for draft. This could leak into constructed though. It's not like staple, but it's good. Fight Rigging, it's a 3-cost enchantment with some god-awful trim on it. My god, what is that? That looks terrible. It looks like it is a JPEG that loaded in wrong or something. What is this? So, purple and green Barney the Dinosaur showcase frame here. This is a rare enchantment, 3-cost single green. And it has Hideaway 5. I'd tell you what that does, but I don't remember. Something broken. At the beginning, oh yeah, it's something like Scry 5 and Exile 1 or something, I don't know. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Then if you control a creature with power 7 or greater, you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost. Great. So yeah, I think Hideaway is pop the top 5 off your library and then exile one of them. I think. And then maybe put the rest on the bottom, otherwise you'll mill yourself to death or load your graveyard. So, I mean, yeah, you gotta have a really big creature, but then as soon as you do, you're gonna get another one for free. It's 0 mana cost. That's pretty obnoxious. It's not as bad as that, oh, if you control a creature 4 or greater, I was gonna say card, but cards, especially the one that lets you draw a card, especially Garruk's Uprising, especially the one with the giant dinosaur foot. Was that Colossal Majesty or something? It's just awful. It's too much. It's like, if you already have something with power 7 or greater, you should just work on that. Okay, you need to calm down. You don't need to load the frickin' battlefield with some broken shit. Oh, by the way, not legendary, 1. And 2, teleportation circle is still legal. And 3, this is an enchantment and it's green, and teleportation circle is an enchantment and it's white. Just thought I'd remind you of that. Also, I looked up the card and it only flickers an artifact or a creature, but still. Next up, Grizzly Sigil. I really hope that this was an overlay animation, not a trim, but wow. So, black sorcery, 1 cost, casualty 1, which means sack some crap. Choose target creature, planeswalker. If it was dealt non-combat damage this turn, it wasn't. You're playing black. What even is this? Grizzly Sigil deals 3 damage to it instead of destroying it. So this is like a really, really shitty Bone Splinters, but like half as good. So anyway, otherwise it deals 1 damage to it and you gain 1 life. That is just awful. Next up, join the Maestros. Is he really tall or are they really short? Vote down below. Maybe he's normal sized and they're Oompa Loompas. Maybe he's gigantic and they're 6 feet tall. Who knows? So, 5 cost black sorcery, casualty 2. So sack a creature, power 2 or greater. When you do, copy the spell. And then create a 4/3 black ogre warrior. Oh, I just realized. I thought casualty was a secondary cost. So Grizzly Sigil makes more sense. Anyway, create a 4/3 black ogre warrior creature token. Great. Next up, Dominio dos Maestros. Oh, good. Portuguese, my favorite language ever. So it's a 3 color, just look on the screen if you want to see what it is. Enchantment. Once during each of your turns, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your graveyard by sacrificing a creature in addition to paying its other costs. If a spell cast this way would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Yeah, that's annoying, but good luck keeping that going. By the way, not legendary. I've seen more egregious, oops, we forgot to put legendary on in enchantments, but still, this one should have it. Next up, Maestros Diabolist, or Diabolist. Nobody knows. 3 color, creature, vampire, warrior. I honestly can't believe this is another vampire set. 1/4, Death Touch Haste. That actually makes sense. Finally, a 1/4 Death Touch is about damn time. Whenever Maestros Diabolist attacks, if you don't control a devil token, create a tapped and attacking 1/1 red devil creature token with when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. I am not a fan of that effect. It is incredibly annoying. Right up there with the Pests deck where it's like, oh, even if I board wipe, I'm going to take a bunch of death trigger damage. And if I leave them in play, I'm going to lose. So nothing in my deck will deal with this. Nothing in the game within reason will deal with this. Great. What a great board state. I have no options for dealing with this. Fantastic. Next up, Maestros Initiate. It's a 3 cost 3/1 human citizen with 4 generic plus hybrid blue-red. I am not kidding, that's what it is. Exile Maestros Initiate from your graveyard, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. So in other words, a garbage draft card. Next up, Maestros Theater. When this card enters the battlefield, sacrifice it. Okay. When you do, search your library for a basic island, swamp, or mountain card. Nice. I get where they're going here. It's a limited Evolving Wilds. Okay. Put it onto the battlefield, tapped, then shuffle, and you gain 1 life. So it's an Evolving Wilds Lifeland faction limited card. Huh. It's pretty weird, but I like it. It's pretty weird, so I like it. Next up, we got a blue instant 2 cost, make disappear. I love the artwork. Casualty 1, which, sack something with power 1 or greater and clone it. And then counter target spell unless his controller pays 2. Just when I thought they were going somewhere neat with this, it's just a garbage counter spell and an awful version of whatever that counter spell is people used to play in Modern. Next up, Professional Facebreaker. Oh, throw up them fisticuffs and put on your Elden Ring hat. What is going on in this set? Anyway, 2/3 for 3, red, creature, human warrior, menace. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Sacrifice a treasure, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Treasures were a good idea until I saw how they implemented it, proving that wizards can rune absolutely anything. It was ramp, but single use. So it's like ramp is a little too powerful because people can cast anything, and that applies to it's too powerful for standard and it's too powerful outside of standard in Modern, Commander, and everything else. So just give people single use instead of Hydroid Krasis, that deck, that time, that Simic nightmare. You can't give people too much mana too early. Well, it turns out You really just shouldn't do that. You need to calm down with the stupid treasures and stop making it purely relevant to flying haste creatures. That would be great. So I just don't ever want treasures printed ever again because they just proved that they can't manage it correctly. And this is Menace 2/3 in red, and every single creature that hits you get a treasure. And it's not legendary. And blue-red cloners is still a viable deck. So this in that would be ridiculous. I feel like this is some kind of like, not infinite combo, but like a cascade where you cast like the top 30 cards of your deck, probably outside of standard, but this is a poorly designed card by far. Next up, Security Rocks. Oh, good, the rhinos are here. So it's 2 generic plus 1 red, 1 green, 2 colors. Interesting. Rhino Warrior, you may pay 1 red, 1 green rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Spend only mana produced by treasures to cast it this way. Oh, get it? You have to pay him treasure to hire him. Ha ha ha. So he's a 5/4 though. I mean, that's decent-ish, but like, it's an uncommon, but you know what else is uncommon? Drafting these exact colors and then having this come up by sheer coincidence. There's a saying I usually give as advice to new draft players. If it's gold, it's dead. Or don't chase the gold. You're probably not playing those colors and it's not worth it. So I don't know what this is. This isn't good enough to play. It's 1 bigger. So what? Now a 5/4 for 2, okay, cool, but it's going to be so late in the game you probably could have naturally cast this, and it doesn't have haste or any kind of abilities, so I don't know. Next up, Unlicensed Dispatch, maybe. It might be a 5-cost sorcery, uncommon, and it might have Casualty 3. Then search your library for a card, then put it in your hand, then shuffle. So a double tutor. That's ridiculous. So, breezing through the spoilers from earlier, in fact, a lot earlier, we've got Riveteer's Charm. It's the 3-color charm on the Riveter's color. I don't know if you noticed that or not. Instant, uncommon, of course. And you choose one of the 3 modes. Target opponent sacks a creature or planeswalker they control with the highest mana value among creatures and planeswalkers they control. Okay, I like that. Partially out of your control, sort of, but also mostly out of their control. Nice middle ground. Exile the top 3 cards of your library until your next end step. You may play those cards. That's the red part. And then the green part is exile target player's graveyard. Yeah, I don't get how that's green either. Well, whatever. Useful card. Not amazing, but useful. Then we got Broker's Charm. It's green, white, blue, or as I like to call it, Broken Enchantment Shit Show. Instant, choose one of the 3 following modes, just like all the others. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker and opponent controls. So green force fight. Then the white part is destroy target enchantment, and the blue part is draw 2 cards. This is probably the most powerful one we've seen. So next up, Courier's Briefcase. This really is literally just like Fantastic Beasts and where to copy them. So 2-cost green artifact treasure. Oh, that's weird. When Courier's Briefcase enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token. Tap it, sack Courier's Briefcase, add 1 mana of any color, obviously. And then if you pay all 5 colors, 1 of each, and tap it, sacrifice Courier's Briefcase and draw 3 cards. I don't think this is for standard. What else is there to say? But now that we've got a non-token permanent that is a treasure, they're going to have to rewrite all of the rules, or they just thought they could get away with it and are going to break everything and then fix it a month later. Stay tuned to find out which. Next up, light 'em up, we've got a 2-cost red sorcery Casualty 2, so sack a creature 2 power or higher and clone this. Light 'em up deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. So 2 extra damage, and you lose a creature that provably had power 2 or greater, so you could have just swung with the creature in theory. This is garbage. Boy, this Is It spell showed up a couple sets late. Next up, black sorcery 2-cost Incriminate. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by the same player. That player sacrifices one of them. That is stupidly powerful for 2, especially in the common slot. I don't think they knew what they were doing with this one. Next up, an offer you can't refuse. Really, they just gotta quote stupid things and make pop culture references as the titles of cards. They didn't learn from the D&D set that nobody wants them to do that. Anyway, this atrocity is a 1-cost blue instant, counter target non-creature spell. Its controller creates 2 treasure tokens. Jeez, Counterspell Junior, holy crap. I mean, you're giving them the fuel to restart and replace whatever you just did to them. I don't think this is a good spell, but You know, in Vintage and Legacy it might be. It's still a 1-cost counterspell that can stop anything but a creature. That's any artifact, enchantment, instant, sorcery, planeswalker, anything for 1. Totally nuts. By the way, story spotlight card, and it says Elspeth wanted answers. Xander needed a spy. Their paths were destined to cross. By the way, speaking of absolutely nothing to do with anything on this card or what I just said, I finally got some crackling oat bran. Oh, God, this stuff is made out of real crack. I assume that's the crack part. Seriously, I've gone to 3 different grocery stores over like the last 2 months, and every single time they're out of this. Doesn't matter if it's 8 in the morning or 2 in the morning. Apparently to get crackling oat bran these days, because they're too stupid to stock triple of it when they run out every single day, is you gotta, like, just win the jackpot, basically, or just, like, stab somebody in the parking lot and take it like it's a frickin' PlayStation 5. Anyway, I'm taking a crackling oat bran break, but, you know, with the magic of editing. All right, next up, Rumor Gatherer, which let's just ignore anything. Who cares if this is even a magic card? Is that a little tiny bear holding a briefcase? She's gathering rumors from a miniature giraffe and a miniature elephant. What is going on in this plane? What is going on in this card? You know what? Forget the spell. I'm skipping straight to the flavor text. It's delightful, the things their owners reveal when they think no one is listening. Oh, so it's a bunch of rich, stuck-up, you know, elite New York douchebags. And so obviously they own exotic tiny pets. Yeah, that's actually pretty spot on. But why does the bear have a briefcase? Is he going to work? Does he go to work in a little tiny car? Are we going to see the little tiny car? Have we already seen the tiny car? Anyway, least interesting part about this, it's a double white 3-cost elf wizard creature, obviously. 2/1 alliance. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, which that prefix in the last couple sets has been notoriously broken. Also, infinite wisdom here of wizards. They forgot to put non-token creature. It's just whenever another creature enters battlefield under your control, comma, via teleportation circle, comma, scry 1. If this is the second time this ability has resolved this turn, draw a card instead. That is absolutely insane. Now, the third time you won't get the card, though. You'll go back to scrying, which this is awkwardly worded. It's stupid. It's not legendary. What is this? Yeah, you could just sit there and clone her, draw, clone her, draw, clone her, draw, clone her. Oh, I said that wrong. Clone her, draw, clone her again, draw, clone her again, draw. Somebody please build that in Modern just to teach wizards a lesson. They obviously don't understand math or like geometric expansion or Scoot Swarm. Anyway, next on this parade of shit, which, oh, I was right. It took 3 days for them to completely ruin this. Waterfront District. Okay, so there's, obviously the other colors too. Waterfront District enters the battlefield tapped, and then you can tap for either color. All 2 of them that this set is famous for. Did they know this is a 3-color set? I'm not convinced. I don't think it really is. I think they changed their mind and just made it Ravnica again. And then we're seeing Pro Mono. This is literally just half the set is for Commander, half of it is vaguely for Standard. Let's be honest, the other half's just for Pauper. But, well, if you pay for, including 2 generic, 1 of each color there, sacrifice Waterfront District, draw a card. So, I mean, this is good for a draft. It's good for sealed. Whatever. I mean, and then late game, you're just like, I just need to stop top decking lands. Here, sack it. Give me a card. I like lands having utility past just land, but anything. I'll take anything over man lands. They need to stop with the man lands. Next up, Vivian Reed is here for some reason. Vivian on the hunt. Boy, when I think of 1910 New York, I think of black people being there and doing well. And then ironically, she's an elf, and elves are notoriously racist. But, well, lefty idiot SJWs in history go together about as well as New Capenna and Vivian. Why learn real reality when you can make up your own on Twitter? Anyway, this is a 6-cost 4 loyalty planeswalker. Okay. You +2 it. You may sack a creature. If you do, search your library for a creature. Oh, it's just birthing pod. Great. Mana value equal to 1 plus the sacrifice creature's mana value. So you upgrade it, and yeah, at least you can only do it 1 per turn. Oh, unless you have the Chain Veil out. They really need to stop with like the single one-off exception rule things. It's like, oh, you can clone legendary. Well, no, you should probably not violate a basic tenet of the game. I mean, just to outline, the design flaws are not a recent thing. Anyway, +1, mill 5 cards, then put any number of creature cards milled this way into your hand. Holy shit. And then -1, create a 4/4 green rhino warrior creature token. All three of those are pretty nutty, but like not really for 6, but 6 is basically 4 when it comes to green. So I think that's going to push us over the edge. It's going to be pretty powerful. People are going to play it, and it's going to be $30. So next up, Nimble Larcenist. Oh good, the white letters from 1994 are back. Maybe they'll stop capitalizing the H's correctly again. Anyway, this is, let's call it what it is, freaking Esper card. Although I hate nicknames, it's white, blue, black. AKA Control Aids. Creature, bird, rogue, 2/1, flying, and when it enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an artifact, instant, or sorcery card from it and exile that card. They're just trolling mirror match players at this point. That's all that does. Seriously, what else could that be for? Next up, murder. So they printed that. I guess this is interesting because Story Spotlight, Omnixilus decided the fastest way to seize control of New Capenna would be to usurp the networks of power already hidden there. Xander's Maestros were the first to fall. Oh, so good old OB. OB showing up and killing people. I'm just gonna eat more crackling open. Next up, Strangle, or as I like to call it, Lightning Bolt Accept Fair. So it's a 1-cost red sorcery. Strangle deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Well, I think this is still a little OP for standard, but, I mean, you can't hit somebody's life total with it. Next up, Chrome Cat, obviously the best card in the whole set. 3-cost artifact creature cat, common 3/2, and when it enters the battlefield, scry 1. I can see why the Egyptians would look at this and be like, I mean, y'all see this, right? Clearly this is a greater being than us. So lastly, we've got Mysterious Limousine. The real mystery is why do they keep putting this many words on a freaking card? So it's a 5-cost double white artifact vehicle 4/4. When Mysterious Limousine enters the battlefield or attacks, exile up to 1 target creature until Mysterious Limousine leaves the battlefield. See, all of that. Every word of that could have been one keyword. Could have been arrest, detain, pin down. And then see, then I wouldn't have to read all that bullshit every time I'm like, oh, look at this brick, this absolute short novel that they wrote on this card. And they did it pretty hard in this set. They got a lot of keyworded stuff that's a lot of rules text, and I don't mind rules text, I know not to read it. It's like advertisements on web pages. I am blind to them. I see, oh, italics, I don't have to read that. Real simple. But they didn't go all the way with it. So the next set damn well better replace every repetitive brick of text that's been on 50 other cards in the past with it. I don't even care. Deciduous, evergreen, one-off, I don't care. Keyword. Do it, Wizards! And I've actually heard statements from the staff saying, we don't want there to be too many keywords because it's not approachable. Well, neither is standard right now, so you've clearly given up on that and ever having a new person learn the game ever. And 2, you know what else isn't approachable? Yu-Gi-Oh! Levels of crap on the card. So anyway, I'm just going to do it my way. Artifact Vehicle, 4/4, 5-cost, white. Arrest. Also, if a creature is put into exile this way, return each other card exiled with Mysterious Limousine to the battlefield under its owner's control. Crew 2. So every time it attacks, it exiles something. Great. Did they realize that you can teleportation circle this card while it's crewed? Anyway, that's the end of this absolute shit show. The set is completely ruined, and, well, at least half of it's not even for standard. So, I don't know what to think about this. Otherwise, I think it's going to go down in history as one of the most unusual, like, 3 sets crammed together that have nothing to do with each other. No synergy, draft nightmare, because 3 colors impossible to draft, which is why they probably backed off it. But then, like I said, a bunch of the 2-color cards are just commander bait crap. Then they got underpowered draft cards with overpowered standard constructed cards. They went so many different directions with this. I don't know if it's going to flop or be a nightmare. Probably one or the other, though. I don't see this landing in the middle. I just don't. So, can't wait to cover the train wreck. If you want to see it too, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. I think the CBD's wearing off.